Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. One of my friends requested that I do a skincare video for men. His name is Leonard. So to help me with this skincare video, I decided to ask my boyfriend, Quinn, to help. I'm sure he's not too happy about it, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into skincare, and I felt like men's skincare was something that I had never really thought about, obviously. But, and coming from a guy's perspective, do you think about it a lot?
No, I mean, not until recently. I mean, with you around, it's kind of hard not to. But, I mean, as I've gotten into it, I mean, there's definitely not a large selection for men out there when you're looking for it. It's very minimal, and you're just looking at shiny products and things that look manly, not really looking at what's in the product itself, so.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that I noticed, because the first thing that we did is we went to Target or like the drugstore, someplace that we thought the majority of people would go to get skincare stuff. And so we went into the men's skincare aisle, and it was literally like a few products, nothing really great. I looked at the ingredients and some of the products, and it didn't have anything that was really good for your skin. Meanwhile, you go into the skincare aisle, which doesn't say women's skincare, it just says skincare. But a lot of people think, oh, well, that's the girl section. But I think if you venture into that side of skincare, you would be able to find a lot more stuff for a lot cheaper price. Because then we went to Ulta and we looked at the men's skincare in Ulta, and it was super expensive.
Right, very expensive. I mean, if you wanted anything that was daily use, I mean, you're gonna probably expect us to pay at least $30 for it.
Yeah, I felt like everything was like $20 to $30. But on the women's side, there was stuff that had similar ingredients for a lot cheaper. So I thought we would just talk a little bit about, I mean, because I think men and women can use similar skincare products, because I know they have different issues, but you can use similar ingredients to get the same effect for men and women. One thing that I've really been loving lately is glycolic acid. That's been a really big thing for me. I know a lot of people talk about exfoliation. I like exfoliating my skin, like scrubs and stuff, they feel good, but I think chemical exfoliation works better. I don't know. There's face washes that I've been using, like this one, and then he has one that he uses that has glycolic acid in it. I was like in love with this. I feel like this happens to me all the time. Ignorance is bliss. I was like in love with it, and then I like read a review that was like, glycolic acid in skincare cleanser doesn't work because once it touches water, it just doesn't work anymore. And then I told him that, and I was really sad. But I don't know if that's necessarily true, because I feel like when I use this, I don't know if it's the glycolic acid or what's in it, but I feel like it really does like help with my pores a lot. Help with a breakout. If my skin feels super oily, I'll tend to use this one rather than like one that's more gentle. What do you think about yours?
Well, I think as it gets older, maybe the intensity goes down, but you still feel that kind of tingly. You feel like your pores feel like they're opening up.
Yeah.
And it's pulling some of that oil, or at least it feels like it on my skin. On this Jack Black, I'm just loving it. It's got clay and ash, and it has that kind of that feeling when you put it on your skin that it's lifting it, and then it just feels really smooth and clean after you use it.
Which could be the clay, so we're not really sure what makes it feel good.
Right, well, that's true.
But that's the problem. I feel like I do that to myself all the time, where I read stuff on blogs or like on websites or in magazines, and I'm like, oh my god, this doesn't work anymore. But I think really you just have to try it and see if it works for your skin. So,
absolutely.
And then like during the winter times, like I don't know if you live in an area where there's like weather, but where we live in Oklahoma, there's definitely a really bad winter time. So I feel like when I lived in Phoenix before, I could always go to something that was really, really like cleansing and would strip my skin of oil, and it wouldn't bother me because it was always pretty warm there, never got too cold. But here I feel like I can only use this in the winter when I feel like I really need it, and then switch to something like I use this one, Purity. This one is more for like if my skin feels dry, so I will use this instead. So that's another thing that you have to think about when you're using skincare stuff, is how your skin feels, what time of the year is it dry, is it, you know, oily. But I really like this one too. I think you've been using this one though, and it seems to be okay during winter and stuff.
No, definitely in the winter time. I mean, my skin isn't as oily because it's so dry and that kind of bitter cold wind. So certain things like Dove Men, their hydrate. Like I like using that in the winter because it feels like it moisturizes my skin, adds kind of a cooling effect, but it's not necessarily in the summer. I want something that's going to be a little more deeper moisturizing, that's going to settle in, and it's going to help relieve all day. To feel like it's trapped in there and it's not something in something weird. But definitely in the cold, you got to be worried of that because you want it to be something that's going to kind of soak into the pore, I guess.
Yeah, help with dryness and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And one other thing that we like to do, and we use, there's a men's brush head for the Clarisonic. I don't know exactly, I think it's just more bristles. But you can get different brush heads for the Clarisonic, and we use the Clarisonic. Really like it a lot. I think that this is better than a scrub because I feel like this is the manual exfoliation, but it's a lot better. One thing that I like about this, because they have ones that are a lot cheaper than the Clarisonic, but they're like a rotary. So like this just vibrates, and I would turn it on right now, but it's dead. But it's like it vibrates. The bristles kind of vibrate your skin to kind of, what I think is it like it's stuff that's trapped in there that really if you just use your hand, you wouldn't be able to get out. But the ones that they sell that are a lot cheaper are rotary, so the brush spins, which I don't know if I like that because I feel like it's just twisting your skin around.
And
I don't know if it's very good.
Especially when your skin's drier, it just feels like it's just scraping it, so it feels a lot more abrasive than something like that.
But some people feel like this is too abrasive, so I think it just depends. But I know now Conair makes one that's really, really similar to this, and it's a lot cheaper. And it has the vibrating bristles rather than like the spinny bristles. So one thing too I've noticed is my skin, I feel like is really oily most of the time, but moisturizing is really important. Even if your skin's oily, people say, oh, my skin's so oily, I don't need to put moisturizer on because it's oily. But sometimes your skin overproduces oil because you're drying it out with all the products that you're using, so it has to compensate to produce more oil. And I think as far as moisturizers, you've been really liking a few that you've been trying.
I really like this Jack Black Double Duty Face Moisturizer because it feels like all day protection. It feels like it gives me moisturizer, kind of keeps the moisture in so that it doesn't feel dry throughout the day. So yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, and then I think you use the Dove one too, right?
I do use the Dove one. That one, like I said, is better for when it's a little drier outside. It feels good just to kind of temporarily, alleviate some of that dryness. It feels like it cools the skin, but it's not going to be something that's going to last all day. So you can apply this pretty thoroughly, while this, I might not use quite as much.
Yeah. And both of these, which I just looked at right now, have SPF, which is really good because that's one thing that I feel like I'm guilty of doing that, where I'm like, oh, everybody wears SPF, and then I don't do it. It's something that you should be doing. So whenever you look for like a lotion during the day, you need to make sure it has some type of SPF because that's what really is protecting your skin from the elements. That's what's really going to protect you as far as dark spots, uneven skin tone, wrinkles, premature aging, all that kind of stuff. SPF is really going to help with that. So anytime any of your day moisturizer needs to have SPF in it. Another thing that I've recently been getting into, and I think I've been getting him into it too, I don't know, is eye cream. That's a whole nother video. But eye creams are super expensive for not a lot of product. Like, I made my own eye cream and I just put them in these jars. But like, some people don't really need an eye cream. Like, let's say you really like one of these moisturizers, whatever, your daily moisturizer. A lot of times if you don't feel like your eye area is super, super dry, you can use just a regular moisturizer as long as it doesn't have like lavender or certain things that will irritate around the eye area. You can use it as an eye cream. It's only when you feel like you need extra moisturizer do you need like a separate eye cream. And we went to Sprouts because I watched this video online about how to make your own eye cream. And I think the products all together were like $60, which isn't that cheap. But when I think about how much product I got and how many times I can remake this eye cream, when you go to like the department store, I think the cheapest one we saw was Kiehl's, the Kiehl's one.
Yeah,
and that one was nice, but it was $20.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think
there's a little bitty deal of it too.
Yeah, so I think $60, I can make my own eye cream and I can make it for a long period of time. I've also been using it, it's pretty thick. I can show it to you. But I've been using it also as a face cream at night. And one thing that I've noticed that I like is it is super, super like thick. But if I put it on my skin at night, by the time I wake up in the morning, it's absorbed pretty good into my skin. I think you used it the other day. And yeah, it looks really shiny and it is really thick, but that's why I put it on at night. I would never put this on right before I'm ready to go out for the day and just slather it on my face because it's gonna get oily. I think so. A lot of skincare can be done right before you go to sleep because for me, I feel like sometimes I just want to go to bed and I don't want to do anything.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, you could keep a jar of eye cream and a moisturizer by your bed and literally lay in your bed, just put on your face and go to sleep. And that could be part of your skincare routine. I've also been really liking, which I think works better, and I used it on you the other day. It was the Glycolic Acid Moisturizer by Peter Thomas Roth. I really like this one too. It moisturizes your skin because it's a moisturizer, but it also has that glycolic acid, so it's going to exfoliate too. It's going to tighten your pores up. It's going to help reduce wrinkles, help uneven skin tone, and that's something you can do at night. So.
And I think with that too, because you said it was time release.
Oh, yeah.
With my skin being very, very sensitive to certain things, it didn't feel, some of those glycolic acids will feel a little more tightening, they burn, but that was actually pretty soft on my skin. I liked it.
And this stuff is not cheap. I'm not gonna lie to you and be like, oh my gosh, it's really cheap. It's $45, which is a decent amount, but you don't use a lot. So I think this would last a long time. Let's say you're not really concerned about exfoliating. Let's say you're just concerned about moisture and you just need to get moisture. You could buy products to make your own face cream or own eye cream. It's all over the internet, all over Google. You know, you could do that. But let's say you have coconut oil. Coconut oil has been something that I've been really into using lately because it has a lot of good vitamins and nutrients in it. And you can use it for multiple things. You can put it in your hair if your hair feels dry. You can put it on your skin if your skin feels dry. You can put it on your eyes for eye cream at night. And I've done it, and I think it's really comparable to the eye cream that I made and the eye creams that I bought. So if you're just concerned about moisture, it's something you can put on at night again, so that it's not too oily. Or let's say you can put it on right before, like an hour. Because I think on the directions that on here, it actually says, for body care, place a jar of warm water to liquefy, massage into skin and hair for 1 hour and then rinse. So you could put this on before you went into the shower and then rinsed it off if you're worried about it being too oily or sitting on your skin overnight. So I know it's a lot of information. I believe it's like a ton. So I think a good moisturizer, SPF, some type of, I like glycolic acid. I feel like it's really worked for my skin. I've used other types of stuff, like salicylic acid, and that really, you know, it didn't really work that good for me. I feel like when I was in high school, I was all about like the grapefruit scrub from Neutrogena and all that kind of stuff. And when my skin was oily, when it was really oily, like when I was in high school and I had more oily skin and I was producing more oil, I felt like that worked better. But now.
But if your skin's a little more sensitive, I think it irritates it more. Generally.
And so glycolic, I feel like it doesn't dry my skin out as much, but it also does the same things, has the same benefits. But salicylic acid is a lot cheaper than glycolic acid. But then again, there are some now, like this Nip Fab, I think you can get it at Target, and it's now a drugstore and it's glycolic acid. So you just gotta look for things, and like I said, don't be afraid to go into the skincare aisle, even though it's more geared towards women, because you can find things there that could help. I mean, glycolic acid scrubs, salicylic acid, that will help with ingrown hairs if you shave, and that's an issue for you. I mean, or large pores, it's gonna help. Thanks for watching. Comment below if you wanna see anything else, and see you next time. Thank you.